Happy Wednesday. Thank you for joining me here tonight. Tonight we are going to be working on the Splendid Sampler 2 again. We finished quilting this piece last night and we are going to use the quilt-as-you-go process to attach it to the rest of our quilt. So thanks for joining me here. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make cute embroidery kits for beginners, and I am here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, and it's a time that we can relax and craft together. So again, tonight we are working on the Splendid Sampler to connecting our piece from last night to the rest of the quilt using that quilt-as-you-go process. So we'll take a look at that a little bit first here, and we got to prep our piece and then get ready to attach it. All right. Hello everyone. Thanks for popping in here tonight. So here is our piece that we finished yesterday. So if I hold it up, you can kind of see, at an angle, you can kind of see our quilting on it. I think it turned out really pretty. And here's the back. So I think a lot of times you can just tell on the back a lot more. So there is the quilting. So we did that yesterday and the day before. And then the front again. So we're doing the quilt-as-you-go process, which means we are quilting smaller chunks. In my case, I'm quilting 4 blocks that we've sewn together. So like a 12.5-inch chunk or so, like this. And then we are going to attach it to the quilt later. So here's part of the quilt that I've already attached 3 pieces together. So like here's a piece, and here's a piece, and they've all been attached with these little spacers, really, these little sashing pieces that look like that's part of the rest of the quilt, but if you look closely, you can see that they're not actually quilted at all. They're flat. And then on the back, we have a little binding piece going along the way too. So that kind of covers up our raw edges. So we're going to be doing that process. We're going to start it tonight. So you can really see in the back here where we've been connecting them all. So I thought we'd add this guy to the end right here. So we can kind of go whatever direction we want, I think. Okay, that's actually kind of pretty. I kind of like that. With the white and the circle, like the white space next to like this really dense area. I kind of like that. But this piece we can turn whatever direction we want because all of these are non-directional. Like whatever way we turn any of these blocks, they'll look the same basically. Compared to this block where every single one of these looks like it needs to be upright. That's the deal there. So what we have to do first is trim this down to size. Oh, Patty, thanks so much. Patty says, prettiest quilt I've seen. I just love it. So this has been I give myself challenges, and I think if you've been here with me, you know that like every project is a chance to like learn something new or to test an idea. And I've never done a pale light quilt, but I always thought they were so beautiful. But I always end up using tons of bright colors and everything. So this quilt was a challenge of, can I do a super pale quilt, like use very light colors and still, get the contrast I need for some of these blocks and stuff. That's been a challenge, picking colors for sure with my limited palette. And then every once in a while I'll pop in some bright colors. You can see some bright colors, but not often. So yeah, this has been fun. This has been definitely a challenge. And this is the first time I've done quilt-as-you-go, and that's been the learning bit of this for sure for me. And it's just a great practice for free motion quilting, some ongoing learning that I'm attempting. So this has been fabulous for that. And it's so easy to do free motion quilting on your machine when you're only working with a small piece like this. Okay, so to prep this piece to be attached to this, first we need to trim it down. So I believe these are 13-inch pieces, and or I need to cut it to 13 inches. So like I know that these are going to end up being 6 inches once they're in the quilt. So if I add seam allowance, then we're at like 12 inches plus the seam allowance, so that we're at 12 and a half, but we have like a 1/2 inch sashing in the middle here finished, so that's 13 inches. So yes, so I need to cut this to 13 inches. But one of the issues we've been having is some of these blocks that we've been making for this, they get real tight to the edge, and then when we quilt them, it pulls it in a little bit. So you can see, like, we might have a problem here of too much batting showing on some of these, like this one too, potentially. So we might actually have to add some white back in, some edging back in, and you can see we've done that like with this horse right here. We've just added a little bit more. You know, right here you can see it in the piece. We added it to this block and then sewed the sashing on. So really it's not immediately visible. Like that little line there is not immediately visible in the quilt, but we needed it to get to that edge. So that's been kind of annoying in this quilt. So I think if I did quilt as you go again, I'd do it in a way where, you know, I do whatever my piece is in the middle and I have a lot of extra on the side, and then once I quilt it all, then I can still just cut it down. That would be ideal. Because right now it sucks that I have to add pieces to it. Okay, so here is my ruler here. So oh gosh, this is that deal. Oh, I think I might have this here for that reason. This is only a 12.5-inch ruler, and I need it to be 13 inches. So I think I had this as like my center point. Okay, because 13 inches would be the 6.5 mark. So yeah, so I have put this, and this ruler is a bummer anyway because there's not lines across the whole thing. This was meant to like make this quilt block. It wasn't meant to do anything else with, so I really need to get a new ruler, I think. But I've marked that 6.5-inch bit right there, and that's so I can kind of put that right at the center of my square, because I gotta find the center of this thing. So here's the 6.5-inch mark there. I'm kind of using the sashing as my guide, because, you know, I want these to match up with the rest of my piece. So I'm just getting the 6.5-inch marks at all of the sashing pieces. Okay, so this is looking actually pretty good right here. And then I got to cut only these two sides. And I got to go beyond it a little bit too. So that's the first cut. And then I got to go around, center it again, and do the 13 inches. I think that's how we've been doing this. So let's just check. So I'd go to here, and then I'd have like another 1/2 inch or so when I was done. And that would get me kind of right where I need to be. Yeah, we're going to have to add everywhere, though. It looks like, yeah, there'd be another 1/2 inch here. Okay. All right. I think we're good. It makes me a little paranoid, but I think we are good. I'm going to go ahead and cut this. These parts that are kind of going over the edge a little bit, I'm going to just wing it. I'm going to just, you know, try and make that straight. So we do have a lot of excess down here, but remember, we still have to do a 1/2 inch lower. And these two blocks in particular, we kept as much as we could. In these two blocks were made in a way that I could keep a bunch of the outside excess. So we might actually be good with these two of not adding any on the edge. Same with here and here. So we might be good down here, but up here, I think we're going to have to add white all the way around. So let's get to it. This looks pretty good. I'm going to set it down. Let's just go backwards here to the edge. Eyeballed that. We're just chopping it all up here. Always a little scary. Oh. There we are. Okay. Big old square ruler. That would be nice. Okay. So again, I'm going to kind of go over the edge here because I need the 13 inches there. Wow, I just had enough of the yellow back piece on this edge too. Wow, I almost didn't have enough of that. Whew, cutting it close here. All right, now I'm going to go down here. You know what? I think what will help me at this point is to, I'll have to recenter it, but putting it on these edges of my, like the straight edges of the ruler, the board here, just to make sure we're straight. And now I gotta, you know, my little piece of tape from ages ago, I gotta mark that 6.5 inch again. And really now I should be on these lines. Gosh, you know what? I think I am gonna just use my ruler at this point, my background ruler here, and we're gonna just get a big old ruler and actually cut at the 13-inch line. Let's just do it that way. Then I know it'll be 13 inches. This is crazy, but I'm going to have to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Ugh. So scary. I'm so paranoid at this point always. Oh, thanks, Marcia. Marcia says, I love the colors. Yeah, this has been a fun challenge, this the pale quilt. We've been calling it the blonde quilt, which I think is appropriate. Okay. There's that edge. Wow, it really cleans it up, though, right away, doesn't it? Ugh, this edge I gotta put all over. I'm gonna have to go dut on here. That's a lot of extra. That's annoying. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Now, these two edges, there's a lot left over. So in theory, I could have shifted it all down, but I didn't want to do that because then my sashing won't match up with the other pieces. So I'm still working from the center as my marker. All right, so we are going to have to do some repairs now, but we're done with this part. I'll leave the rulers and everything nearby, though. Okay, so let me grab my other bin. So you can see here a little bit closer what I'm talking about. We got exposed edge here, right? And it's too big that I don't think it will get sewn into the quilt. So like if it was like within like 1/8 of an inch from the edge, I wouldn't have bothered because with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, we would have just covered it up. But these are, especially down here, that's approaching or even over our 1/4 inch seam allowance, and this side too. So we're gonna repair like all of this, which is a bummer. However, this side is perfect. There's nothing except for maybe the end of our sashing piece, but that'll be sewn in really easily. Same there. All right. And again, the big issue is that when I quilt, it kind of pulls in on the fabric, so it shrinks my piece overall. So that's been one of the downfalls of the quilt-as-you-go process for this. And like I said, I think I'd use the quilt-as-you-go process again for a piece where I knew there was a lot of extra on the side. Oh, cool! Marcia says quilt-as-you-go is the way you learned how to quilt. Oh, it's not. Oh, it's not Marcia. Let me know how it's pronounced then. Or is it Marcia? Maybe I just can't read from that far away. That could be too. All right. So here is. These are all the pieces that I've pre-cut for sashing, and that's what I'm using to repair too. So when I cut these, I did not really calculate how much sashing I would need for this whole project. I just cut a bunch of them. So I've just been using them, and then if I run out, I will have to go make some more. So I'm just going to grab a bunch of these out of here. We'll need them. And then now these pieces I cut for the binding piece in the back. Yeah. So this we'll use later, but I will get that out also as well. And once we connect these, we're going to connect them with a sashing piece and a little square in the middle as well. So I'm going to just pull a square out. Okay, it's going to be blue this time. All right, now I have all the supplies that I think I'll need for the evening, so I can get this out of the way. This is where I've been storing the batting. I've been using batting scraps, so this quilt is also going to have all different size poofiness and styles of batting. That'll be interesting. I don't know how well that'll work. And then I have my pieces cut for backing parts. So that's what this bin is for. I have 2 more bins for this project for different parts. Okay, so first things first, we need to repair this. So how I've been doing that is basically just taking some of these extra sashing bits. Oh, it's Marca? Okay, let me know if I'm saying that right now. Okay, so I'm going to just kind of go on the edge here. I think I'll go a little higher for this one because we'll cover it up this edge at the bottom here. I'm just going to sew close along the edge here, along where it's bad. And then we'll just flip it over and press it. And then I'm just going to trim off the excess. So I'm going to do that on this side, and I think I can do it with one of these smaller pieces on this side as well. Yeah, so I'll do these 2 sides first, and then I'm going to do one long piece for here. And to do that, I'm going to have to sew like 3 of these back to back. Yeah, I'm going to have to do 3, I think, and then we'll just have a lot of excess that I'll have to use some other time. So sewing 3 of these together and sewing those edges are the next step. So I'm going to grab those. And actually, I can already sew the sashing pieces together as well. All right, I'm just ready to sew a ton of things at once. So these are the 3 I'm going to sew together. This is the sashing piece that I'll sew. So I'll do a white piece to that little square piece, to this piece, and then I need 2 more pieces to clean up those edges. So here and here. And then I had 1 piece extra. So I almost picked the exact amount that I needed. So that one will go back. So all right, I'm going to just sew all of these and this, and then we'll take it off the machine and see what happens, see where we're at that point. Okay, I'm back using this machine. Oh, it is all full of blue from the Granny Square quilt. Yeah, I really need to clean this guy one of these days coming up here. So these are just next to me, so I'm going to start here. These are the 3 pieces that I just need to sew together. I guess I'm not starting with a leader. The 3 pieces that I need to sew together to repair the bottom. This feels... Gosh, it feels so different than the other machine. It's so much smoother, really. Okay. Oh, Marcy. Okay, so... Oh, well, okay. Let me know if you want... Let me know exactly how you want me to call you. I can call you the right thing, too, if you don't prefer Marcy, but I can do whatever you like. Just let me know once I get it. Sorry about that. All right, I'm going to take this back piece off. Oh, Marcia. Oh, I get what you're saying now. I get how you were pronouncing or spelling it out with the Marci and okay, Marcia. I can call you Marcy or Marcia. That's fine. Oh, just say Marcy. All right. I got it now. It's close to my grandma's name. My grandma's name is Marcella. All right. Oh, I gotta get one more on here. And then those pieces are done, and then I'll go to the other one. I'm back using my Kenmore, my 1938 Kenmore sewing machine. So this is the one that I've been using lately. I really am liking it a ton. First of all, it looks just fun. I love this crinkle black finish that it has. I just think that's just kind of cool. All right, I'm going to attempt to do this guy now. I'll just do kind of right on the edge here. This is a little bizarre, but it seems to be working fine when I'm doing this. So I'm just kind of sewing like 1/8 of an inch in, and I'm folding over the fabric here. Get that stiletto to work for me here. Yeah, so this was that one that I got from that giant sewing crafty yard sale that they have in Minnesota here a few years ago, and now I know how to use it a little bit better, and I just love it so much. All right, so this is gonna have like a weird kind of edge here. I'm just gonna kind of angle it away. It'll be fine. All this will be on the inside of the quilt when we're done. So I'm gonna get a leader out here to take this off the machine. Yesterday I was using my, from my mom, my 70s Kenmore. And that's the one that I've been using for free motion quilting because the feed dogs are stuck in the down position. So it's really only good right now for free motion quilting. So that's what I've been using it for. Till I fix it, or figure out how to fix it. All right, I'm going to sew this other side on here quick, and then we're ready to go. I can press these and attach them, or trim the edge, and then try to get them attached to the rest of it. All right, I'm gonna just kind of, you know what, I think I'm gonna lift up off the machine here. We're going to just start right in here. I'll do a little back tack to... Ooh, come on. There we are. All right. Following this edge for a little repair. So I am going to probably clip some corners while I do this and stuff too, but that's what I get, I guess. All right, let's do this side of the leader. All right. So there we are. I got all sorts of pieces here. So let's press them all and trim, and then we'll sew this bottom bit on. Then at that point, we are ready to actually start assembling these. So here's that first one. I'm going to just flip this over. It's going to be a little goofy, but it'll be fine once it's all sewn in. There we are. So now we've covered up that batting that's on the side. And I'll trim this off before I sew the bottom on. So that's that side. So we didn't lose any detail really there. I'm fine with that. Maybe a little up here. I'll trim that off. And then this side here. Well, actually, we didn't do half bad there either. We still have all our points here. So we probably did have quite a bit extra here. And I just needed a little bit more. So good, we didn't lose anything here. Good. Okay, so that will cut off, but while I have the iron here, let's just press, oh, I didn't snip those apart yet. Let's just press these other bits. So these I'm just gonna press however. I'll press to one side. I'll actually press them open so that it's more consistent. So there's only 2 layers of fabric on both sides instead of 3 on one and 1 on the other. All right, so now this is what I'm going to sew across that bottom. And maybe I should sew it on before I trim off those sides. I think we'll do that. And then here's that sashing piece, and I think we'll probably press outward, right? We'll see. think. Yeah, outward. We'll press those outward. Because I think the seam allowances will go the opposite directions then. Okay, so this will be our little center piece. I think I got that figured out. All right, let's take this bottom, and I'm going to sew on the right sides together, just this bottom edge. And then we'll cut off all of these. Once I press this, I'll cut off all these extra edges, and we'll be good to go with our repairs. Will you be trimming all the leaders and enders, half square triangles? Gretchen, I will at some point. They're getting bulky again, and I'm actually needing to sew or cut. I'm at the stage where I'm going to need to cut more soon, which is crazy. It would be a baby quilt size right now, maybe a small baby quilt size if I sewed them all together. I'm just going to keep going. I mean, I'm just really enjoying using up, random fabric, or not even fabric, like random clothing I've been cutting up that I just haven't been able to throw away. So I've been cutting it up for this, and so one day I will have cut up and used up all that fabric, all those pieces of clothing I saved, and I'll have so many extra bins in the basement, and that'll be nice. Oops, this guy got flipped over. Although that's been a little stressful, like it'd be easier for me to just throw it all away. But that's not what we're doing. Alright, I think we'll just leave it at that. I don't think I need well, we'll have to get another leader later, but we're fine now, I think. Okay, so let's trim that guy off and press this, and then we'll trim all these extra pieces. Then we'll be ready for the actual quilt-as-you-go process here. Oh, Glennis, am I totally missing a trick here? I'll have to go through your comments. I think I might have missed something. Okay, good enough. I am going to now trim all this. And I think I'm going to do that just by kind of eyeballing it. Actually, I know I am. So I'm going to just trim off the excess here. Cutter. I'm literally just I'm not even going to use a ruler, I don't think. I'm just going to go slowly right along the edge. A ruler would maybe be smart, but oh well. Just going to go there. Okay, that didn't work. Okay, this is dumb. I'm using a ruler. Let's do this edge. There, much easier. Then maybe I can save this extra little piece here, so, oh shoot. Time for a new blade again too, it looks like. So I'm gonna just trim this off. I'll put this little piece back with my other pieces just because I might need to use that, and I'm very much most likely will need to use that again to do some healing on some blocks. Okay, good. Now we're set. So let's see what we got now. We should have a repaired quilt now. And there we go. So you can see all this little extra white edge at the bottom, but that will kind of blend in with our sashing and stuff, so I'm not as worried. I mean, it is what it is at this point. Okay, so exactly, Lynn. Lynn says extra bins for more fabric. Yep, that'll be the thing. Like, one of these days I'll use up everything in all the bins right now, and then I'll be forced to buy more fabric. That's that's the goal, right? Okay, So we are going to attach this to this piece here. So here's the whole thing again. So I've been using, or for this quilt, I will have 5 block segments. So like if I'm calling this a block, not just this a block, I'll have 5 of these. So this is the 3rd one, this will be the 4th one, and I'll need a 5th one to finish this row. And then this will be my 3rd finished row once I finish this, which again, I need a whole nother section on, meaning I need to make more blocks. So I'm just approaching 2/3 of the way done. And then I do have to attach the rows, so that'll be the same process that we're going to be doing now, but like really long. So that'll be interesting. I haven't done that at all yet. Okay, I think this is how we wanted it, like with the circle here. Yeah, this looks good. Oh, this is kind of how we quilted it too, so maybe I'm just used to it being like this. All right, so this will be our piece that will go right here. And then this sashing piece we are going to deal with later. I will need to press it. I am going to have to do that now. So what our goal is we are going to we're going to just work on one side here, and I'm going to sew this onto here, but I'm also going to sew this folded binding piece on the back, like so. Alright, so we got a whole big layered of stuff, like amount of stuff here. And then I will press it and I will sew this to here. And then what we'll have is, I won't sew this anymore though to it. So we'll just have like some big raw edges on the back, and then we use this binding piece to cover it up and stitch it. So that's the process. It'll make sense in a moment here, but it does look like I do need to press this first. So I'm going to press this like how I would do a binding. And that is just, I'm going to fold it in half like so. And if you're using pattern fabric, you would do the wrong sides together. So we want the good side outward. In my case, I'm using a solid, so it's the same on both sides. But you would want the good side out for this. So wrong sides together. Oh, our logo, we will see. So we have a new product coming out that we're going to see if you guys like. And it's coming out Friday, and there are some good guesses. So you will see soon. But I think it's going to be really fun. Okay, there. So here is our binding piece, really. So we got the folded edge here, and then we got the 2 raw edges that meet up here. So it's those raw edges that we are going to want to match with the rest of this, and we are going to clip all this. This is a lot to clip, and I've made these a bit longer, so we'll just line it up and we'll just trim off the rest here. I've been pretty loosey-goosey with the cutting of all these extra pieces. So all right, I have a few clips here, but I'm going to need a whole pile more. Not a whole pile, but some. Okay, so we need to clip the raw edges outward onto these raw edges, and then this will go, right sides together with this. And we also need to line up our middle little sashing cornerstone to this white sashing piece here. So it blends into this ice cream cone, but I can still see where that stitching is. So that's what I need to match up here. And actually, I think I'm going to place a clip there first, just to make sure that those seams are matched up. I think we're good right there. See if I can lift all this up. There we are. Okay, now I'll clip the rest of these edges together. Kind of starting and stopping with a little extra of the binding piece there. It's a lot of layers here, so I want to make sure that I don't lose any. Okay. Okay, oops. I'm like going in here, it's closed still. There we are. Okay, and then let's get down here too. Oh, we got a little horsey guy here, I forgot about him. Ugh, yeah, this horse has so many tiny pieces, so there's a zillion seam allowances here, so this might be a little bit of a bear to stitch through, but I know this machine can do it. This machine's pretty awesome. Okay, and we do have kind of extra, which worries me a hair, but because in theory this should be about the same distance. I don't think we have enough to stretch it out either. We're just going to sew and let whatever happens, happens. At this point, I mean, all these blocks are so different that they're all pulling and moving differently. It's not like we're doing a quilt where with every block exactly the same, so everything will kind of lay the same. Every block is different here, so, you know, whereas this has like 40 pieces right here in this column, this has none because it's all one solid behind here, so, or it has like maybe 2 pieces. So that's going to move and stretch differently. But I think we're fine. We're ready. I'm going to sew down just with a 1/4 inch seam allowance down here. We will press, and then we'll be ready to attach it to our second piece here. Okay. We have our 2 different color threads here again, because we ran out of the one bobbin. Get on there. Okay. I've been kind of saving the pale, like yellow colors for quilting this quilt. So I only have a little bit of a couple pale colors left. I don't want to, otherwise I have this gray. I'm going to just back tack here. I know I didn't start with a leader this time. Ooh, listen to it ker-chunk through all that stuff. All those layers. Such a nice machine. It's so smooth. Especially once I got to know it a little bit better and oiled it and got the motor running a little bit better. It's a fun machine to learn how to do all that stuff on. And I suspect it's time to oil and clean it and at least change the needles again here. Soon. Ooh, it's a horse with all of its little parts. All right, I think I'm just going to back tack it there again and then take it off the machine. Okay. Snip, and we'll trim all of this excess off too. But first, I'm going to press it, and I'm only going to press the front. So I only want this part to go over because this part I'm going to sew to the other edge here. I don't want this to be in the way, so I'm not pressing this over because I don't want that to be in the way yet. I will do that later, and we're going to actually hand stitch this. So, all right, let's press just the top. All right, got that horses made out of that like paper stuff. Oh, fun. Look how nice it looks with that horse, kind of with that finished edge. It just really frames it, doesn't it? There, so this piece matches up with the sashing, so it'll look just like these other sashing pieces. So this is actual sashing that's sewn into the quilt. This is another one of those binding pieces, and so is this, but they all look like our sashing pieces, and that's the goal. All right, I'm going to just trim these little ends here. I don't really need those anymore. I'm just going to use the scissors. And then we'll sew this second half on. All right, we're going to go like so. I'll get this piece up here. All right, let's get this piece onto here, so I'm just going to flip this around. I want to match up this to this top sashing piece, so I'm going to work a little bit like that. But now this time, again, I'm only doing this piece that we folded over plus the new thing. I'm not going to sew in our flap here. So I'm going to just clip, and we'll be ready to do the hand stitching of this soon. And that'll probably do tomorrow. Oh, and speaking on that, I will be on location tomorrow. So John and I are headed to my parents' house tomorrow. So we'll be in Wisconsin tomorrow. Which also means I'm only going to be on YouTube again tomorrow. So for all you Facebook peeps, it'll be YouTube at Penguin and Fish Movies. I can only really do one without a major setup change. I can only do one place when I'm at my parents' house, and YouTube seems to work a little easier. Oh, Amy says I've converted her to a clipper versus the pins. At minimum, I'm not stabbing myself all the time. That alone has made the pins worth it. But yes, so Friday and tomorrow, so Thursday and Friday this week, will just be on YouTube, and it will be on location at my parents' house. But I think we'll be done with this tomorrow, which means that I still have, we could work on another block while I'm there. The other option, so let me know how you feel about this. So we can either work on, we can either keep working on this project on Friday, because I think, like I said, I think we'll be done attaching this tomorrow. So I can either bring, I'm trying to figure out what to bring, because I got to pack here right when I'm done here. So I can either bring another Aurifil. We can work on another, not Aurifil. I keep saying Aurifil, but we can work on this Splendid Sampler 2. We can continue that and just pick another block, because, we got to keep making all these blocks. So we can make some headway on that. Or I could just pick a totally different project and bring that instead. And actually, now that someone mentioned the Aurifil block, you know what? We do have that quilt. Oh, yeah, you know what? We were at the point that we could lay that out, weren't we? We're not ready to lay out the granny quilt. Well, that's already basically laid out. So, we could work more on that. But you know what? Maybe I'll bring the Aurifil quilt home, and I can lay that out. We might be able to have like a mini live during the day. I might be able to do that. Catherine's voting the next Splendid Sampler 2 block. Maybe I'll bring the Granny Square quilt, not the Granny Square quilt home, sheesh. The Aurifil, I think maybe I'll bring that to my parents' house anyway, because I needed that big space to lay it out, didn't I? So maybe I'll do that while I'm there, and then label all the rows and stuff. That'd be good. That'd be a good thing to do there. So that's not the easiest thing to do during the normal way that I do lives there. So it would have to be during the day somehow where there's light and stuff. So let me think about that. I might bring it home anyway to do, or not home, but like to my parents' house anyway to do. And maybe I can do a live putting it together, but it would be during the day. So we'll see. We'll see how Friday pans out. But I'll bring it home just in case. So keep your eyes open, or I'll make a decision, and then I'll post it in the Penguin and Fish Crafters group if I'm going to end up doing that live, laying it out. But that would be kind of nice. And maybe I'll still bring over maybe I'll still bring all the Splendid Sampler 2 stuff, and maybe we'll still start another block on Friday. We'll see. I'm just going to bring all the crafty stuff. So, I didn't even say the last option. The last option is I am getting real close to being finished with my knit pillow, that lamb, that sheep pillow. I'm getting close to that too, so we could just hang out and knit too. So that would be an option as well. All right, and here we are, you guys. So we are now attached to the quilt, which is cool. I'm going to actually press this, but then on the back, you can see that we still have these raw edges, right? So this is the part that I'm like, I don't understand how Quilt-as-you-go goes, because you're going to have all these raw edges. This is where we take care of that. So this binding piece that we made, we are going to flip that over, and I'll press this because that'll help like force it over. But then we're going to hand stitch it to the back. And you can see we've hand stitched this one. So we just flip it over, hand stitch it. You can machine stitch it too. I've done that for a few of these, but I kind of like the hand stitching. So we'll hand stitch that, and then then it's closed. We've closed off our seam there. So I'm going to just give it a little press right now. Just trying to force it over a little bit, get that started at least. I don't think I'm really pressing it all the way, but I'm just kind of encouraging it over just a hair. Okay, now I am going to press it over. Okay, so that'll help get it started. And I kind of want to press it on this side too. I should have done that first, really, but I think we're fine. All right, so now we will hand stitch this, and I'm kind of thinking that that might be good just to start tomorrow, because this is going to take me longer than I think we have time. So instead, why don't we just take a look? I'd love to see what the rest of this quilt looks like. I haven't looked at it in a while, so let me put away my clips here so they don't fly everywhere, and then I'll get those other pieces out, the other quilt pieces, and we can kind of see how this is going to start coming together soon here. Move all these guys. All right. Oh, and I'll move these two. Oh, yeah, so next week, just another reminder, we'll be working on the April Showers Embroidery of the Month. We'll pick a bunch of icons out from here, and I think we'll turn them into some little greeting cards here. So these are two that I've made already. We have these blank cards and this in the shop yet, so check those out if you like. So that's next week. All right, now I've got a clear table here. Let me grab my other bin. So this is my other bin for this project. So I only have one other finished block here, so I need to make 3 more before I can add to this. But I do have these guys finished, so let's put this guy away. So these are the other finished parts of the quilt. So we got 2 finished rows here. So I'm going to get real high here. We'll try and lay this out a little bit. All right, so this is, I don't know what order of the rows I'm going to do yet, but these ones all have 5 going across, which actually means like 10 blocks. 10 of the original Splendid Sampler blocks. Oh gosh, it's totally hanging off. I have no room for a quilt this big, for sure. Okay, but we have 2 full rows. So those will go together in some way like this. So they'll actually have to be attached along this edge in the same way that we are doing these sashing pieces here. So we'll actually have like more of those little cornerstones all along, the tiny little colorful squares, we'll have those all along here. So we have to make that piece. And then this is the one that we're working on now. This one only has 4, so this one we need the one more on it. So, I don't know, we're looking something like so. All right, there we go. You can kind of get a whole breadth of what's happening here. So this is the vibe of it. So this is just 2/3 of it. So we got the 2 rows, we have 1 more here, and then we need 2 full more rows. And like I said, I only have 1 more of these smaller blocks made. Hooey! So we still have tons and tons of work on this to go yet. But it's coming along. The nice thing is I don't have to quilt it anymore, right? Except for the little bits. So once we've quilted our small little quilt-as-you-go process, we're kind of done. All I need to do when I'm finished here is, put a binding on or something, really. So that is the deal, and I think we'll call it a day right there. And they're all done being quilted and everything too. All right. Thanks again for joining me here for this. It's always awesome to get another piece sewn on. So here we go. This is our piece that we quilted yesterday. It is now part of the quilt. It feels good. So yeah, we'll pack this up again, and we'll finish that binding piece tomorrow. That will go easy peasy. We'll probably even get it done beforehand, so maybe we can, I'll bring the extra fabric that I have. We can peek at what a next block might be for this. I'll bring the book and stuff along, and if my mom has the right stuff at her house that I can borrow, then maybe we'll start another block as well. But I think I will still bring the Aurifil quilt and try and lay that out at home. That would be nice, just to get out of the way, because I don't have room for that on my floor here. So, all right, you guys. I will see you tomorrow then on location, again, just on YouTube, so check out Penguin and Fish Movies for that. Same time, 8:30 p.m. Central Time. So thanks, you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow in Wisconsin. Good night.